Welcome to the Wolverine Digest podcast, the best spot for objective and authentic coverage of Michigan athletics. If you want open dialogue, honest opinions, and in-depth coverage of the maize and blue, this is the podcast for you. And now, here's your host, Brandon Brown, joined as always by Chris Breiler.
We're back on a Friday night, man. Excited again.
Wait. Is it Friday? It's Thursday.
Thursday. God, see, look, here's what I was going to get into.
Here's what I was going to get into. So much.
I'm up at the lake. I'm trying to make this work. I'm sitting in a hot, sweaty kitchen right now. We got a big-time guest with us tonight, though. I'm super excited about that. And I promised everybody after this week, no more vacations for me. No more vacations for Chris. It's game week starting next week. We will be locked in, coming at you 4 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, immediately after each Michigan game. So we can't wait, man. We're super excited about that. And we also can't wait to welcome our guest in tonight. Michigan linebacker Nikhai Hill-Green is joining us. Nikhai, thanks so much for the time, man.
Thanks for having me.
Well, as you could hear a little bit there for people out there watching, we are on a slight delay. I don't know if it's a Wi-Fi issue, connection issue, whatever the deal is, but we're super excited to have Nikhai here. And I mean, Chris, I don't know. Should we start with the biggest news right off the bat, or just because you got it earlier today, or how do we want to go? I know you've got your questions that we've got, but I feel like that's the elephant in the room.
Nikhai, obviously, Coach Hilo came out today and, he made it clear that you've won that starting linebacker position opposite of Josh Ross. And I'm just curious, what was that like when you first learned? Was it something that you kind of had an idea that this was coming, or did it catch you off guard? Because you're only a sophomore.
It didn't catch me off guard. I really just stuck to the script, put my head down. I worked every day. And every opportunity I got, I just did my job and did what I had to do day in and day out. And I'm going to continue to do that throughout camp. But no, I don't think it caught me off guard at all.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't surprise me, because the other thing that Coach Hilo said was, he singled you out as one of the guys in the room who takes crazy notes, that you kind of you're wide-eyed when the meetings are going on, and that you're just somebody who's always doing the right things all the time, and that you went into the off season with a plan. Can you talk about, what was that plan? Like, you clearly went into the off season on a mission. Can you just kind of talk a little bit about, what was going through your head coming into this new year?
Yeah, just coming into the new year, I know I had to be more strategic with my film study, my nutrition, my weightlifting, and my speed training. But the biggest change from last season was definitely my mindset. I had to transition from wondering if I'll be able to contribute and help this team, to being determined to contribute and help this team. So that's the biggest thing I had to change from last year to this year.
I was going to ask, I wonder how much you feel like you really did change, though, because even though you didn't play a ton last year, your name was brought up here and there. Other players would say, watch out for 41. He's been making some plays, young guys running around a little bit. So I assume you were doing a lot of things right last year. How much do you feel like you did change, or did you kind of have a mentality even as a rookie, like, hey, I want this pretty bad. I'm going to do everything I can.
Yeah, I did. I came in with the mentality. I had a chip on my shoulder. I wasn't the highest recruit, you know what I mean? But I just came in. I worked every day. I put my head down. I just did everything I had to do with every opportunity I got, and everything worked out.
Well, you mentioned your recruiting status, which you said it yourself. You weren't the highest rated recruit. You played a couple different positions, kind of played all over the field. You used to play some wide receiver even. And I know last week when we had you at the media availability, you're a Pittsburgh kid, so you also moved high schools. I mean, that throws a wrench into the recruiting process for some as well. Just kind of talk about all that stuff. Your past life as a wide receiver, coming from Pittsburgh to St. Francis, and just kind of how all that led you to Michigan as like you said, an underrated recruit.
Yeah. I went to North Catholic High School in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So there I played basketball. I played receiver. I really played kick returner. I was an all-around player for them. I went to St. Francis, and I really got to hone in on my linebacker skills. And I never lost my receiver skills or returner skills. I just don't get to showcase them anymore. But yeah, I really got to hone in on my skills at linebacker at St. Francis, and it prepared me to come to Michigan.
That's so I'm glad you brought up St. Francis, because that was going to be one of my next questions. Obviously, you came over from St. Francis along with Blake Koram, and you guys, it seems like, through following you on social media, that, you can tell that there's a strong bond there, but you guys always seem to be in the weight room together, holding each other accountable. Can you talk about how your relationship with Blake has helped push you into the position you're in heading into this season?
Blake, he's really my family. He pushed me ever since I met him. We've been competing with each other ever since I met him. So he's just he's my type of guy. Like, he's a hard worker. He never complains, and those are the type of people that I gravitate towards. And he's really a good person, and he's into God just like me. So once I met Blake and I knew he was just someone like me, that's what made us so close, and that's why we built that bond.
Yeah, and it seems like, so I know players are probably tired of talking about it, and I'm sure fans are even tired of hearing about it. But I do want to ask, because it has been so prevalent in the offseason, there's all of this talk about new chemistry, new energy. You spent your first year here with the University of Michigan in 2020, so that was kind of your first experience. What is year two like for you? I mean, how is that different from year one? Do you notice the difference in energy? Do you notice the difference in chemistry?
Yeah, definitely. If I could put it into words, I would say contagious positivity. That's what I would say. It's just contagious positivity from the janitors all the way up to the head coach. Everyone is in the building. Everyone has a purpose. Everyone's working as hard as they can, and everyone knows their role. Everyone's maximizing their role. So that's what I would say the biggest change is.
You touched on this a little bit already, but do you feel like, physically, mentally, just everything you're doing to get ready to be on the field this year, how much have you changed from year one to year two? What, if you could name an area or two or three where you just feel like, wow, man, I'm so much better there this year than I was last year, what would be some of those things?
I would definitely say my film study and my mindset. My play recognition has gotten so much better. I can kind of see what I'm getting from formations and pre-snap motions, just pre-snap things I'm seeing before plays even happen. That's really allowed me to play a lot faster, and just my reads have gotten so much better. I'm reading keys and I'm playing faster. That's the biggest change from last year I'm seeing.
I'm curious on that note, how much of that is you're a year older, you've been in college now for a year, you've just gotten more used to the speed of the game versus a brand new scheme, maybe a better scheme for your skill set, Mike McDonald and what he's doing versus, and every player we've talked to, nobody wants to say anything bad about Coach Brown. Everybody understands that things happen. It's a business and he's moved on. But a lot of people are saying the same things you just said, that you're playing faster, you're seeing things quicker. It just seems to be a more free defense. So how much is it, you're older, more versus this new scheme that seems to be pleasing a lot of people?
I would say it's a collective it's a collective piece from last year and this year, kind of putting what I learned from Coach Brown and what I'm learning from the new coaches together. And I'm learning a lot more about football in general, because with this defense, it's just people, and I can show a lot more versatility, and it allows me to play sideline to sideline. And when we adjust, I can adjust on the fly and soak in the other guys in the building. So that's what's helping us play so more freely and faster.
Nikhai, so you've obviously made huge improvements during this past offseason here. Blake's another guy that's made big improvements and is going to be a major factor this year. But I'm curious, who are some of the other guys that maybe people aren't talking about a lot that you've noticed have made a huge jump either from last year to this year or from spring camp to fall camp?
I would say definitely Jalen Harrell and RJ Moten and Makari Page. Those are some guys from my class that I see, but some older guys that have been almost perfect in this camp. Aiden Hutchinson, Brad Hawkins, Josh Ross. I don't see them guys like not make plays. Like, they make plays every day, and every time they're around the ball, like whenever it's their opportunity to make a play, they make it. So a lot of guys have been perfect. Those are the guys on the defensive side. On the offensive side, um, they're explosive. I've seen a variety of guys. AJ's getting a lot better, fast. Roman Wilson, Blake, H2, on the offensive side, they all look pretty explosive. And I know I anytime they can make a play, so I always got to be on my P's and Q's.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. You keep putting us right into the next question here, so I kind of appreciate the flow, the way this is going. But you're out on the field a lot. You've been playing against the offense. What is it like playing against the Michigan offense? I mean, for fans on the outside looking in, we're kind of waiting to see. We know you guys have a ton of talent. We know what the capability is, but for somebody who's out there on the field, I mean, what is the biggest challenge in defending the Michigan offense?
They're fast, they're explosive, and at any time, someone on that offense can make a big play, whether it's a running back, receiver, a quarterback. They're like lightning fast with their adjustments to the defense, with their pre-snap, with their changes in the coverage. And when they see changes in the coverages, they just weak and just got to be P's and Q's and ready, because they can make a play at any time.
I wanted to go back to something you said just now, and you also mentioned it last week, Nikhai. You mentioned specifically Josh Ross. I think just now you said Aiden as well, and Brad Hawkins also. But you said last week in the media availability that Josh Ross has been like perfect. Like, you don't know if you've seen him make a mistake yet. That sounds really impressive. But for guys like us who aren't in practice every week, what does that look like? What does a perfect fall camp look like? How can you possibly be perfect through a fall camp when you're supposed to be learning and figuring new things out and getting the bugs out right now? That's what fall camp is for. But for a guy like Josh Ross and some of those others, you said they've been really, really good.
I say perfect. I mean, everyone always wants to improve on something, but I say perfect because I see him next to me in meetings, and I see him take what we're adjusting from the meeting room and immediately using the field. We changed them that day on the fly. He changes it in his game, and he just adjusts. He adjusts fast, and his play recognition is like, it's great. Like, it's beyond anything I've seen.
Obviously, Josh was named a captain. I think that was the vote today. Actually, I think that was today, was it not? Or maybe within the last couple of days. He's kind of been viewed that way for a while, even when he was in high school. I know he was looked at as like a future captain type of guy. What kind of things does he do for you as a fellow linebacker? You just mentioned you line up right next to him. What are those captain characteristics that Josh Ross has that you see probably more than anybody else? Did we lose him, Chris? We might have lost him this time. It was getting a little choppy there for a few.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to take Nikhai out real quick. If he comes back in, I'll be able to see it, and we'll add him back to it.
Yeah.
Speak on that real quick, Chris. You were there earlier today. The captain announcement came through. Josh Ross, one of 4 captains. Like I said, I mean, I've covered him since he was in high school at Orchard Lake St. Mary's, and he was being talked about as like, that dude's a future captain wherever I don't remember if it was before he was committed or after he was committed to Michigan, but he's been viewed that way for a long time, and he just seems to be, kind of built for it. I want to hear Nikhai's answer about that, but I guess I'm assuming you weren't very surprised when you found that out today.
No, I mean, he's one of those guys that just seems like an old head. Like, he's been around for a long time. Same with Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, when they came out with the names, I really wasn't surprised by it. I was really happy to see that Ronnie Bell was one of the guys selected. I feel like, and we've talked about Ronnie Bell before, that he's just kind of like this under the radar guy that, like, is the primary target at the University of Michigan, or one of the primary targets at the University of Michigan. And you almost never hear anything about him, at least on a national scale. But good receiver, a guy who's been in the program for a while and voted on by his teammates to be a captain. So I think that says a lot about who, Ronnie Bell is as a person.
Andrew Vistardis, and then Aiden Hutchinson as well, the other two captains. So a really good group. I mean, I think I saw somebody today bring up, like, is it a problem that Caden McNamara is not a starter? I don't think so at all. You've got 4 veteran senior Michigan guys. I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal now. If Caden McNamara is the starter this year, comes back next year, maybe even a 5th-year guy, and he's never a captain, maybe then you could talk about that. But I think heading into his first year as a starter, he's still just a 3rd-year player. You've got those guys who have been around forever. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But anyway,
I mean, I don't listen to what the guys are saying about Caden McNamara during the offseason. I don't think there's any problem, the fact that he hasn't been elected. They're talking about his work ethic. They're talking about the impact he has on the field and in the locker room and in the huddle. I wouldn't read anything into that.
Yeah, I don't think so either. All right, I'm going to try to add Nikhai back again and see if anything is different. Okay. It doesn't look like his camera's cooperating, but we will see. Adam does not look like it's working. I don't think it's working. I don't think it's working. Well, that's a bummer. Maybe he'll I'm actually going to drop him out and then see if maybe he can click on the link again and jump back in with us. But that's all right. I mean, hey, technology issues going to happen.
He's the 9th player we've had on, and it's the first real technical issue that we've had. So
yeah, and he told us before we got going, he's like, I'm having a little issue with my Wi-Fi and my signal, so we'll see how this goes. And it was going pretty good for a minute there, but kind of fell out a little bit. Anyway, I wanted to ask you, and we were going to do a little more of this tomorrow when we get back to normal a little bit. We can kind of sit down and just do a more traditional podcast. But what was George Hilo like today? I'm out of town. You went to the media availability. You were able to actually hear him talk, and that's the first time we've seen him. And I again, when he was hired, I just felt like not a bad thing, not a good. I just didn't know. I didn't know much about him. What we were going to get. I was going to ask Nikhai about that as well. It looks like we might have him back. So, Chris, if you want to just answer that question real quick, and then we'll bring Nikhai back in and see what he's got to say.
I mean, smart guy, knows the game well. But I think you're right. Like our assessment of him and our opinion of him we'll base that on what happens on the football field. So right now, he seemed like a decent guy, saying all the right things. And like I said, he's very knowledgeable about the game. But in terms of, where he's at as a coach, we'll see come fall.
There you go. All right, let's bring Nikhai back in. Let's see if it's working. Nikhai, we got you?
Is he back?
Got you. Yeah, you guys lost.
He's back. We still got a little bit of a delay, but he's back though. All right, Chris, I think we left off with what was it? You were talking about the offense.
Yeah, I mean, so here's what we're going to do. Just in case we run into any more technical issues, we'll kind of wind it down. But I am curious, Brandon and I were at Big Ten Media Days, and the guys, whether it was Coach Harbaugh or Aiden or Josh Ross, everybody spent a lot of time talking about Ohio State and, the focus you guys are putting on Ohio State and how it's something that, is kind of put in your face every single day. Can you talk a little bit about what the mentality is heading into the year as far as Ohio State's concerned, and maybe some of the things you guys are doing internally to renew that focus and get over the hump?
It's an everyday thing because it's always in the back of our minds. It's not going to be a perfect season unless we beat them. So we know that game's coming. We know they're the last game, and we're always going to keep that in mind going into every game.
Nikhai, I wanted to get your take. I just asked Chris this before we brought you back in. What's been your impression of Coach Hilo? He's a guy that came to Michigan from Maryland. I didn't know a lot about him when he was hired. This was the first chance we really got to talk to him. Obviously, you're with him every day. What are some things that you can tell us and the Michigan fans out there about your linebacker coach?
Coach Hilo, he's really knowledgeable about the game. He gives me little cues and tips every day that it's just good football knowledge to know that I didn't know. And he really cares. He's a genuine guy, and he cares about the betterment of the team, and he's really unselfish. So, and I can tell that like all he wants is the best for us and the best for this team.
That's awesome.
Well, you mentioned the team. And Chris, before we turn them loose here, We are now, 3 days away from it officially being game week. Nikhai, where's your head? Where's your heart? Where's your nerves? Where's your stomach, man? I mean, it's coming.
Think about it. Starting linebacker, full stadium,
yeah,
9
man.
days away. Like, I mean, what's going through your head right now? This is crazy.
It still hasn't hit me yet. My main focus is just keep on improving every opportunity I get and come out 1-0 after the first game. That's my main focus. My main focus is just to help this team win and do whatever I can to help this team win.
What do you think would be, coaches are never completely pleased. Players are kind of cut from the same cloth. What would be you just mentioned 1-0, but I mean, personally, that first game, you're starting for the first time, you're going to be on the field a ton. Do you have any, personal individual goals for that first game? What would be, I'm not saying it has to be 10 tackles, 15 tackles. I don't know if it's a number, but what would be a successful first start for you in that season opener in a little over a week?
I don't want to be too cliche, but winning the game. Something that we kind of live by in Schembecker Hall. It's team success equals individual success. So when the team shines, we all shine. So I don't really have any individual goals, but I want us to have a great game, a collective team win. That's really my goal.
There you have it. Chris, anything else before we let Nikhai get out of here, man?
The internet. I mean, I know we got some fan questions that are out there. Do you want to try to squeeze a couple in there before we cut them loose?
Yeah, we can throw a couple of those out there. Let's see. Going down the list.
Let's do it.
Going down the list. Oh, actually, I'm not going to put it up there because it's a slightly insulting the way it's worded, but somebody wanted to know, how did you get number 41? Was that picked by you or was it given to you? Have you thought about switching your number? I think the number's fine personally, but somebody wanted to know if that was something you picked or you wanted to switch to something else now that you're going to be a regular on the field.
I've had number 41 since high school, and
there you go.
I don't plan on changing it. I just want it. That's the number that I wear, and I want to create my own legacy with it. So, legacy 41.
I'm trying to think. Isn't that what Alvin Kamara wears? Like, it's a dope number. 41's fine. Like, I don't know. I know the single digit numbers are all the rage these days, but
I like
no, yeah, 41's a good number for a linebacker, right?
I think so.
Let's see. It's a lot of other just comments. There's not a lot of questions, really. It's like, gotta win this game by 60. Everybody's just excited for the season, man. Everybody wants that season to come so badly.
You know what? Let's defer to Nikhai here.
Man. I've been waiting for a while.
So Nikhai, we know that the connection is not great. Okay, but we usually do football feud here at the end. We know we got a leaderboard with Jordan Morant sitting at the top spot here. Is this something you want to crack at?
Dude, that delay. I say just ask him the questions.
No clock.
Yes. Just ask him the questions and we'll see what answers he comes up with, and that way he can make his name on the leaderboard.
We got to get you in on the leaderboard somehow. Hopefully you're at the top spot, but we'll see where it shakes out. So normally, Nikhai, what I would do is you would get 30 seconds. I would ask you 5 questions. And then the top 10 answers, the top answer is worth 10 points. The bottom answer is worth 1 point. Basically, you're trying to get, or 1 point, you're trying to get as many points as you can possibly get. And just so you know where your competition is, Jordan Morant currently sits in first place with 34 points. Then you've got Roman Wilson at 30, Hinton at 28, AJ Henning at 19, and Blake Koram at 19. Your boy Koram sitting in 5th place. So you're going to have to talk to him about that maybe when you get off here. But so there will be no timer. I'm just going to start asking the questions. We'll get through it, and then we'll give you a score at the end and see where you fall.
That's it.
Does all that make sense?
I know that delay is rough, man. I don't even know if he can hear us at this point.
Is he still there?
I think we lost him again, man. I think we lost him again. Trying to go through the directions, and he's just that blank stare. All right, I'm taking him out of the. I'm taking him out of the.
We tried. Hey,
studio.
Nikhai, we tried. What? All that means is you're gonna have to come back on when the internet connection's a little bit better, and take your chance.
All right, mate, hold on. We might have him. We might have him back.
We got him back.
I don't know. He popped in again and was moving, but man, he just. I don't know, man. I think we might just need to mail it in with Nikhai. I'll tell you what. I'm going to give him I'm going to give him an A for effort because he wants it. You can tell he wants it. He keeps sticking around. I know he's reloading stuff and trying to get it. Nikhai, if you can hear me, man, we'll just chalk this one up as a not the best ever connection, and we'll go next time. We'll try to get you back next time when things are working a little bit better.
Yeah, but certainly. Appreciate you taking the time to come on and congratulations on earning that starting spot. I know, based on what Coach Hilo said, dude has put in the work. He's done everything that you would ask somebody to do and then some. And I got to be honest, man, I'm looking at guys like Blake Koram and Nikhai HillGreen, and the makeup of this team just feels different. And there aren't a lot of guys that are known commodities, but man, there is just something, there's a different vibe with these guys. That's all I'm going to say. I'm chugging. I'm not even trying to hide it. I'm chugging. Right now I'm chugging. We're 9 days
You're still at 9-3? Are you like you're 11-1 now?
I'm still at 9-3. I'm still at 9-3. But if they go out and put up 60 or 70 points week 1, then I might slide up to 10.
Okay.
I got to see what this offense and this defense.
Do we want to try one more time with Nikhai?
Why not?
I kicked him out. I booted him, and now he's back. He wants it.
He wants football feud. He wants the championship.
He wants it. Competitors only, bro. Added him to the stream. No picture. Do we have him? Do we have Nikhai? This poor guy, man. This poor guy. He's trying.
I'm going for the win.
Okay, all right. He's here. Nikhai, if you can hear me, I'm going to start with the first question. We're going to go right now. Nikhai, name something your parents would ground you for.
Skipping school.
Okay.
Number 2, name something annoying
school.
that dogs do.
Bark.
Okay. Number 3, what snacks do you usually eat at the movies?
You got me?
I got you. Yeah. Did you get that movie question?
M&M's.
We're checking through it. Number 4, name something
M&M.
you always find 2 of. Do we still have any viewers?
They're hanging in there. There's a few hanging in there.
Nikhai, name something you always find 2 of. No. Wait, did he say socks?
He said socks.
Did he say
I heard socks.
All right, Nikhai, last question. What would another driver do that would make you mad?
Sock.
What was it?
I could make it out. Couldn't even make it out.
What was that answer? The last one you gave?
Yeah.
The ship's going down, Brandon. You might as well just stay on it now.
It is.
We're one answer away.
Hear you.
Okay, you can hear us.
Can't hear you.
This is not directed at Kai. This is Nikhai. This is everybody what they're doing to us right now.
All right, I'm going to try one more time. Last question, Nikhai. What would another driver do that would make you mad?
I can't hear you.
Oh my God, dude! I feel so bad. I wanted this to be good. We got the starting linebacker on the day he's named a starter, and
the last time we got
Nikhai's-
off of a podcast, I said it was a shit show. I was wrong. It was this one.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because this was just a technical thing. It was just a technical issue. The last time it was me and you talking over each other. We couldn't get our cadence. I feel like the interview part went fine for a little bit, for the most part.
How was he doing though? Like let's see.
He was at 19 points through four questions. So he was gonna, unless he had an absolute bomb on the last one, he was gonna surpass his boy Blake and was it AJ Henning that also had 19? Yeah, but he wasn't gonna catch the leader. So we know that much at least.
It's unfortunate.
I feel bad. I keep kicking him out of the studio. He keeps coming right back in, dude. That's the kind of mentality you want at a linebacker right there.
I'll shoot him a message.
Just tenacious. He just
he won't. He just
won't give up. He won't
better
give
see
up.
that on Saturday.
If you could shoot him a message, just shoot him a message because I don't know if he can even hear me when we're talking about it anyway. But yeah, I don't know, man. I wish the connection would have been a little bit better, but we did get some really good answers out of him in terms of like what's going on, his mentality, his approach, how he kind of locked down that starting job. I know, like I said, man, last year when he was a freshman, he wasn't even playing, and guys in fall camp and even into the season kept mentioning his name. People kept talking about Nikhai Hill-Green is going to be somebody that you're going to learn a lot about, and it's going to happen this year. He is going to be on the field a lot. He's going to be a starter, and I think that's great for him. When I saw him last week at the media availability, I know he was I think it was his first time doing media. I mean, that makes sense. As a freshman, he didn't play a whole lot, but big shoulders, big chest, long arm, dude. I mean, he's a long, rangy linebacker. If he's running sideline to sideline and really doing well in space and covering a little bit, I mean, he's built for it, man. There's no doubt about it. And when you start to hear about the other stuff, the stuff that you can't know just by looking at him, the note taking, the film study, the mental preparation, the get ready for everything. He looks like he's got it all. And I like the fact that he mentioned himself that he wasn't a big time recruit. I think that's, when kids can recognize that and kind of take that and use it as fuel, those are some of the guys where 2-3 years down the road, they're all of a sudden they're all Americans. And you hear that you can't watch a podcast with them where it's not brought up. 3-star kid. Now he's an All-American. Like you see that a lot. And that could be the future for him. He looks like that kind of body. And now you start to hear about all this other stuff that he's doing at practice and in the media, in the meeting rooms. I think he's got a bright future, man.
It's the same reason why I'm such a big fan of Blake Koram. They seem like they're cut from the same cloth, and I know that they've got a connection there. But when I say that, I mean they just do the right things. Like they do everything you want a player to do. You trust them. They make the right decisions on the field, off the field. You just can't have enough of those guys. And we keep hearing more stories about this coming out of fall camp, and now that camp's finished up, I'm just excited to see it, man. I think we're both in the same boat. We're just we have no idea what this thing is going to look like, but we're hearing a lot of good stuff, and people just want to see it now.
All right, Chris. Tomorrow we'll be back.
We will.
I'm sweating profusely as I'm sitting
look
here.
Good, though. You don't look like you're sweating.
I can feel like I'm sweating. I can feel like I'm sweating.
I just want to start by saying go blue.
Before we get out of here, and I like this. I like some of the comments we're seeing over there. Said, "Keep talking. Too short. I need more football. Don't stop." I guess we're doing something right, but the plan is to get back after it a little bit more tomorrow with a little bit more of a structure where Chris and I can do a little more traditional talking, asking each other questions, talking about the upcoming season, what we're going to do, what we're looking for as game week rolls around, talk about Western Michigan a little bit. We'll get into that more next week as well. But the plan was tonight, get Nikhai on, talk to him for 30 or so. Then Chris and I would talk about him, the linebackers, and kind of put a bow on it. And that's about where we're at. We're near the 35-minute mark now. I know Nikhai's appearance didn't go super smoothly, but it is what it is. Not his fault. He said before we started, like, my connection's not real good. We'll try to make it work. And it just really didn't. That's okay. Last words, Chris. I'll let you take us out since you, again, were at availability today. got a chance to see Coach George Hilo, helped line this thing up with Nikhai. I know he's another guy that we're growing higher and higher on, along with Blake Koram. But just overall view of what you heard and saw today, and then the captain stuff. Just anything to kind of put a bow on what went down today.
Well, I think one of the things that stood out to me the most was, and I'm paraphrasing, I don't know exactly how he said it, but Ronnie Bell said this was the most positive or most energetic environment he's ever been around as a football player. And that's including his time before the University of Michigan. And so a statement like that, again, these guys don't have to say things like that, right? But they're going out of their way to talk about just how good the chemistry is this year. And people who understand sports, no matter what it is, football, basketball, whatever, you understand the importance of chemistry and how chemistry can be that one thing that takes a talented group over the top. And if you take these guys at their word, it sounds like they've got all of that and then some this year. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how different it looks. I mean, we know that the energy and the vibe is different. Does the product look different?
Getting more and more excited, man. I mean, tomorrow, dude, shoot, I'll be home, and then you wake up the next day and there's football. Like week 0, Big Ten matchup. I think it's Illinois, Nebraska. Yeah. So we're going to be watching real football. We'll be talking real football, and then it's game week, and I got to throw it up. Look at that comment. Chris, you spilled some Kool-Aid on your shirt, man. Try a straw next time.
That's tie-dye. Nah, man. Look, I'm not hiding it. I'm a fan. I'm soaking it up. Football's back. Fall's coming. It's all good things, man.
Maybe I need to turn the volume up on that one a little bit.
Staying right there. I might actually be stirring a big jug of it.
Off camera, Chris is stirring blue Kool-Aid, dunking his face in it after we're done. It's like a cauldron over there. He's throwing dog hairs and his son's toenails in there.
What a show we did.
Hey, man, we tried to make it work. I'm sitting, it's got to be 86 degrees in this kitchen I'm sitting in right now. The Sports Illustrated branded shirt is soaked. Looks like saran wrap on my back.
But my Biggie's clean.
Biggie shirt's good to go. Down in the basement, cool as the cucumber. He's Chris Breiler. I'm Brandon Brown. We'll be back tomorrow, man. We're going to put together a structured hour-long show tomorrow to kind of get us going into the weekend to get prepared for game week. And then we are off and freaking running starting Monday, and I could not be more excited about it. So
stick with us. It's going to get better.
It's going to get better,
man.
It's going to get better. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll be back tomorrow night.